Hey team, here we are, week number 8 in your Iron Distance training program. Hope it's going well for you so far. I hope the aches and pains are down at a minimum. Your legs should be a little bit tired right now, to be honest, because you've put in several weeks of higher volume training and more intensity as you're building your volume towards your peak weeks. So expect to be a little bit tired. That's part of the training process. But again, as I mentioned before, focus on your recovery. That's really key. Focus on recovery, especially for the older athlete. You have to make sure you're watching the gauges, taking good care of yourself, making sure you're sleeping plenty, stretching, and as we're going to discuss today, incorporating some strength work into your program. Not only will strength training help you become a better athlete and improve your performance, but it will also help you avoid any injuries that you might come across. So that's going to be our focus for today. Talk a little bit about strength training. Now, let's talk a little bit about this week, week 8. So again, you're still building your volume. For some of you, this might be a race week, as week 9 was for others. But this might be a great time to incorporate a race week. And now, of course, if you raced last week, you don't race this week. The beginning part of this week, you're recovering, and then you build your volume back to normal training volume towards the end of the week and over the weekend. But if you're racing this week instead, make sure that you back down on your volume during the week so that you can have at least somewhat rested legs going into the weekend, and then put out a really high-level effort, because that effort's going to boost your fitness as well as your competitive edge in preparation for your A race. So keep that in mind. But let's talk about strength work. Strength work at this stage in the game is all about maintenance, okay? Hopefully you've been following some level of strength or resistance training all year round. And again, I go back to the aging athlete, the masters athlete. It's of particular importance. You've got to incorporate some resistance training into your program. Now, contrary to what some coaches say, I don't believe strength work needs to be this daunting process that takes up a lot of time, because most of your energy should be spent in your sport-specific training, your swimming, your biking, and your running. However, some of your time needs to be spent doing some resistance training as supplementary work to your swim, bike, run training. And I'm a huge fan of using these bands. Now, you can do your resistance work 2, perhaps 3 days a week and do really short but effective workouts. Workouts that take 10 or 15 minutes and get a huge bang for the buck in terms of performance enhancement and injury prevention. And again, using bands, if you're on the road and you travel like I do, or you're just really busy, there's so many things that you can do with bands to help maintain your strength and even elevate, say for example, your swimming. Do dry land work for swimming. And I'm going to show you some different exercises you can do with that. But let's go back to week 8. Week 8, we're building your volume, building some intensity into your program. Your long run, probably still hovering around that 2-hour range. For the more advanced athlete, you're getting up there probably around 2 hours and 15 minutes, maybe even 2.5 hours. Getting up there in that 15 to 18 mile range. For less experienced runners, you're at least at 13 miles, maybe upwards of 15 miles. Overall training time per week, we're probably looking at somewhere in the range of 12 to 15 hours for most of you, with more advanced athletes, 15 to 18 hours if you add up all of your actual training time. So you're still building that. Intensity-wise, you are incorporating some tempo work to build strength and that lactate threshold into your program at least once a week for each sport. I wouldn't recommend a whole lot more than that, because your volume of training is so high. So there's really not a need to add more than that one hard workout a week. And again, this is a good time to race. So consider racing, and that will be your high-intensity workout for the week. As I've always said, and will continue to remind you, please make sure that you're taking good care of yourself. Good nutrition, plenty of protein, carbohydrates, hydrating well. At this point in the game, as you're training so many hours, I recommend that you weigh yourself in the morning when you wake up, and then again in the evening before you go to bed, to make sure you're hydrating to the correct level and that you're not making sure that you're drinking enough, essentially, so that your performance will be higher, okay? Very important. Hydrate effectively. So let's talk a little bit about this strength work using cords and a really quick routine that you can do twice or 3 times a week in order to enhance your performance. The busy triathlete can accomplish a lot in only 15 minutes, 2 or 3 days a week when it comes to strength training. All you need are stretch cords and a stability ball. Start off with a set of 15 to 25 reps worth of freestyle pulls. Immediately, do 15 reps of tricep extensions, followed by a rear delt movement, again getting 15 repetitions. Move directly into a lat row, again focusing on 15 reps. When you're done this, move directly to a set of push-ups. Perform as many reps as you can in 30 seconds. Then go directly to your stability ball and perform 30 seconds worth of crunches, followed by 30 seconds worth of back hyperextensions. Performing this routine 2 or 3 days a week is a simple and effective way to improve your performance as well as strengthen your upper body and your core to avoid injury.